Hey YouTube, welcome to first episode of the new year. Live long and freeze dry 2026. I'm going to do a mixed batch today. I actually came down earlier and started it. I'm going to go ahead and stop the thing for a second here. And I'm going to open up and show you what we're running. You know, after the holidays you end up with a whole lot of leftovers. And you know, food security, putting stuff back, having when you need it. That's what this is all about. So in this batch, we're going to have 2 trays of coffee. We had some leftover macaroni and meatballs. And of course, you know, the dip that didn't get eaten. This is sour cream and chive, I believe. See how that comes out. I've not done that in the freeze dryer yet. And then the bottom is some chicken and mushroom rice. So we're gonna have quite a mixed medium in here and see how it all comes out. It's been running for a while. We're gonna go back to our recipes. We're gonna run it on the meat mode. Freeze time's 9 hours, 22 hours of dry time. I've already got a couple of hours on the freeze time, besides the fact that I took those trays out of the freezer this morning at about, I don't know, I think it was around 4:30. So we'll go in here, everything's closed down. Okay, it's gonna be on a cool down here for a few minutes. There we go. It's kicked back on. I'm going to reduce the freeze time down to about 4 hours. And that'll have the drying kick in about 10 o'clock this morning, which should make the batch finish up before noon tomorrow, which is good. Did an oil change on the vacuum pump last night. I'm going to turn the little fan on here. I like to keep that thing cool when it's running. And so tomorrow afternoon we'll come back and check this out. And we'll have some stuff to package up, hopefully, and put into our food storage. Another thing we'll try and do tomorrow is I'm going to take some of the stuff that I freeze dried a year ago when we first got our Blue Alpine. We're going to take some of that out. We're going to reconstitute it and see what it's like after it's been sitting in storage for a year. So thanks for coming in, showing up for the video. If you like the content, give us a thumbs up. We will see you when this batch is ready to process. Okay, YouTube. The Blue Alpine's been running for 33 hours and 40 minutes. I kind of expected it to go long because we had 2 trays of coffee in there, and a tray of soup, and then the dip, and the spaghetti and meatballs. So the tray temperature is up, the mTORs is down. I'm going to take and open it up and check the things and see if we've got any cold spots in the product. Open up the drain valve to let the vacuum out. Get the pressure back where it's supposed to be. The door's opening up now. And we'll start with our coffee. And as you can see, it's, yeah, there you go, it's just powdery. And that dark spot in the middle is where all the sugar came up. So we'll set that here. I'm going to shut off this fan before it blows my coffee all over the room. And second tray of coffee, same way. Okay, now the dip. Let's see what we got here. Just a nice powder. No cold spots. Perfect. Be interested to see how that reconstitutes. Now this is the white chili chicken and rice. Again, it's all nice and dry and powdery. No cold spots, no wet spots. This is the tray that I got the questions about because those meatballs were pretty dense. There we go. And we've got one big solid sheet. Everything's dry, everything's warm to the touch. So a little over 30 hours, got this whole mixed batch done. Got my hands all dirty. Quite a bit of ice in there. I don't know if you can see it, but that ice at the top is probably an inch thick. So we will close this up and set it to the defrost cycle, and we'll let it defrost and get ready for the next batch. Will probably wait till Wednesday to do that. It's probably going to be a candy batch. I think Becky said that her candy jars at work are getting a little low, and we can't let that happen. In the meantime, though, we're going to go ahead and package up our stuff here. Now that spaghetti and meatballs, that's pretty substantial, and I do want that to go into long-term storage. So I'm going to get one of the Blue Alpine Mylar bags. They're a lot heavier than the ones you're going to buy on the Amazon, although the Amazon ones are fine, but I'd like to have this and keep it in storage until next fall and take it down to deer camp when the boys are heading out, and have something a little different than what they normally eat, although those boys will pretty much eat anything. Now, as far as reconstituting this stuff, I will probably take some of that chicken soup, chicken chili there, and tomorrow morning do a little reconstitution video on that so you can kind of see how that works out. More dishes to do. Okay, since I am planning on keeping this in long-term storage, I'm going to go ahead and open up the jar here and put an oxygen absorber in the bag. Now, if I was using one of the Amazon Mylar bags and tried to close that bag up like that with that pasta and stuff in it, I would have definitely jammed a hole through the side. These Blue Alpine bags are a lot heavier duty, so if you're putting away the good stuff and you want to make sure that it's going to be good for a good long time, I would err on the side of the Blue Alpine bags. Okay, next tray. We've got the white chili chicken. Let's see if I can't put that in a jar here. Got my big funnel. Honestly, I don't understand how they call this chili, because to me, chili's got to have beans in it. I guess I should understand, though, that since I got this recipe from someone in Texas, and Texans don't put beans in their chili for some reason. But I just always thought that chili meant beans. Now, when I cooked this, the chicken cooked down pretty tender, and it was basically just shredded up in there. So, okay, we've got a full jar there. Let's go ahead and slap a lid on it. Then we will use the vacuum sealer to seal the bag here. Pop that off. And boom. Green chili, or white chili, chicken chili. Okay, this little bit here. Let's see. See if we can get this in a small jar. Like I said, I'm going to try and reconstitute this tomorrow on video and kind of see how this stuff works. One of the things that you need to keep in mind is the reason we purchased the Blue Alpine freeze dryer is so that we would be able to have emergency food stores. And the thing you got to remember about emergency food is it's still got to be something you'll eat. There's no sense in freeze drying stuff that you don't like. You can buy emergency food, Costco, Walmart, whatever. But if it's not something you normally eat or would want to eat, why would you want it? So when you have your own freeze dryer, you can take the recipes that you normally make, and when you have the extra ingredients, the extra money to buy the ingredients, or even when you just have the leftover food, you can take those meals, run into recycling your freeze dryer, put them in a jar or a Mylar bag, and then when you do have that defecation hits the rotary oscillator moment, you've got food on a shelf that you know you like, and you know is good for you, and you know is good for a long time. So, I mean, if you own an old Ford truck, you wouldn't keep oil filters for an old Chevy on the shelf. Why? Because you're not going to use it. Same thing with your freeze-dried food. There's no sense in making stuff that you're not going to use. I'm all about experimenting, you know. Can we freeze-dry this? Can we freeze-dry that? You know, I mean, heck, we freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches. Well, we like ice cream sandwiches, so when and if we need them, we got them. Okay, this is the chive, sour cream and chive dip. Put that up. Oxygen absorber. Here's another helpful hint. Write down what you put in the bag. And the date. And today is 1/5/25. So theoretically, I could open this in 1/5/45 and it's still going to be good. But chances are I won't be here in 1/5/45. Okay, the coffee next. I have made the coffee in the past, and big jars don't make very much product. As a matter of fact, here is some that I made months and months and months ago, and we will go ahead and add what we've got on these into this. Ugh, we had a good vacuum seal on that one. I don't want my coffee to taste like chicken soup. So wipe out our funnel. Another great thing about these silicone liners is you can roll the stuff up, break it up, and get it into the containers a lot easier. Now this stuff is like, I mean, warm snowflakes. You touch it, it just falls apart. Now some of this coffee did have creamer in it, so it's got a pretty good smell to it right now. Soak it down in there. Maybe we'll try this freeze-dried coffee in the morning too. Okay, so we got that. Since I am going to try this in the morning, I'm not going to vacuum seal this jar. I'm just going to put the lid on it. And this will go upstairs with this. Tomorrow, freeze dryer room gets full clean. The freeze dryer gets cleaned out on the inside. I've run quite a few. And we're going to do a full oil change on the vacuum pump, because it's only run 100 hours over the past week. And I'd rather keep fresh oil in it. I mean, you can see the oil in there right now. It is just as clear as can be. But I don't know how well it's holding its viscosity. So rather than push it, since I don't have a way to check the viscosity of the oil, we just put new in. I have still probably 2/3 of a gallon of the Heartland or Dairyland vacuum pump oil. So we'll do a full change out, and I'll take the old oil and I'll pour it in the jug with my chainsaw bar oil. It seems to work really well for that. So in the morning we'll do some reconstitution and we'll wrap up the video. Appreciate you showing up. Live long and freeze dry, people. Okay, YouTube, like we talked about, I'm going to reconstitute some of the white chili chicken and rice that came out of the freeze dryer earlier. Boiled up some water in the electric kettle. Grab a spoon here. This is the product that we put in the jar. You can see in there. Very light, very fluffy, very dry. So I'm going to take what we've got here in the jar, pour it in the bowl. That's probably way too much. You'd be surprised at how much the stuff expands and so forth when you reconstitute it. But I'll take the boiling water from the kettle and we'll pour a little here in the jar and get some of the rest of that goodness out there. And we'll just pour it on top of our freeze-dried product. And we've got some chunks of chicken in there, so it's going to take a few minutes to reconstitute. Now, as far as ratios of water to product, it's going to be different with every different product that comes out of your freeze dryer. You can get real scientific with it, and you can fill your tray, freeze your tray, and then weigh your tray before it goes into the freeze dryer. When the cycle is complete, the tray contents are brought to they're freeze dried, all the moisture is reduced, then you can reweigh and then subtract. You can see if you had 10 ounces of stuff on the tray to begin with and it comes out and there's 3 ounces, well then you kind of know I've got put 3 ounces, it was 10 ounces, so there's 7 ounces of water, so you know how much the ratio you need to reconstitute. The thing you will find with all the different products is there's going to be a different amount of time that things will have to soak and reabsorb the water to get reconstituted. And so you'll just have to kind of play that by ear. But you pour boiling water into this and let it sit for 5 minutes. It's still going to be hot enough to eat when you're done. And if it's not, you can always pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds or so and get that back. The other thing I was going to try is the coffee that we freeze dried. Let me grab a cup, and we'll go ahead and give that a little bit of a taste test. Now it's going to be very concentrated, but because it's so light, it may take several tries to get what we want. Let's just start with that amount there. Kind of see what we've got going on. Again, we're back to grabbing our boiling water, and there, let's pour it in like that. I'm going to pop the lid back on this. Freeze-dried items, once they're exposed to the air, they will pull the moisture right out of the air. Humidity in the air will get absorbed, and this stuff will get clumpy and sticky. And so you might want to think about, if you're going to keep it in a jar like this, get to one of the vacuum sealers you can slap on here real quick, draw a vacuum down on it. That will keep it dry. Let's take a little taste of this here. Wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that took a long time to freeze dry that coffee. I mean, I think the whole run was 30 some hours, and but we got a lot of good stuff out of it. Now we're going to do a quick taste test on this chicken chili. I'm just poking the chicken with the spoon here, and everything feels like it's softened up nicely. Let's give it a go. So good. So like we talked, if you're going to invest in a freeze dryer to provide food security for yourself, to cut down on the amount of waste, things you throw away because you made too much. I have an issue. I grew up in a big family, and you always made a ton of food. Well, now there's just me and the wife, and I can't seem to make just enough for the two of us. I always make a big batch, so I'm always got a meal for the both, leftovers for lunch the next day, and then a tray or so to go into the freeze dryer. But again, it's all stuff that we know we like, we know what's in it, and we know that push comes to shove, we've got stuff on the shelf, we've got stuff in baskets, Mylar bags, jars, whatever. We need it, we've got it, we know we'll like it. So again, I would recommend that if you can afford it, look into getting a freeze dryer. I'm hooked on the Blue Alpine brand. I know there's several brands out there. The Harvest Right, the Stay Fresh, they're kind of the bigger producers. They push out a lot of product. But just because you put out the most stuff doesn't mean it's the best stuff. I checked into the Blue Alpine. I liked what I saw. I like what I got. And yeah, I would recommend going with them as opposed to the others. And that's my opinion, and my opinion based on my experience. So yeah, there we go, folks. I don't know what the next batch is going to be. Going to be making some turmeric chicken and rice later for dinner tonight. We'll see how it turns out. If it's good, I will let you know, and I'll share that recipe with you and the freeze drying process for that as well. So live long and freeze dry, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy New Year. Make 26 count for something.